Hello, this is Matt from tracyandmatt.co.uk and from unboxings.com, and here I have the Nokia N8. We're going to do a quick unboxing video for you and hopefully a little demo before we go ahead and do our full review. So, handset itself is immediately on top of the box, and we're going to come back to that in just a moment. Underneath, well, actually first and foremost we have a little guide here that tells us how to insert the micro SD and the SIM card. Underneath we have a micro USB style connector, which doesn't actually appear to be micro USB. It's similar but not quite micro USB. It's actually square rather than sort of tapered in the corners. On the other end of that there is a standard USB connector, so you can plug in memory sticks, that kind of thing. Then there is a mini HDMI to HDMI connector, so we can plug in the N8 to an HD video or HD TV and output the video from there. Then we have a charger. So it has the small style Nokia charger or Nokia sort of bullet connector on one end. But then we have this sort of telescoping, sliding, folding or sliding charger. So it just takes up a little bit less room in the box, I guess. Then there is a standard USB to micro USB sync charge cable, an OV quick start guide, and the quick start guide for the handset itself, which actually is nicely printed in colour, but it is pretty lightweight, not a great deal of reading there. And then finally we have a wired headset. Let's just pull all that out of the way. So it's a 4-pole 3.5mm jack on one end, which enables us to use our own headphones, and at the end of the length of cable we have some media controls and an inline microphone with a clip to hold it onto clothing. So there is a button there to answer and hang up your calls, an up and down volume control, and then some media controls, so play, pause, and then skip backwards and forwards. That's quite nice. It's a fairly neat inline control. There's a little bit more cable, and then the actual headphones themselves, and these are full in-ear style noise isolation, not cancelling, noise isolation headphones with nice little rubber grommets around them, and then there's some more there for different sizes of ears. So that's pretty cool. Let's move all this out of the way and bring the handset back. So this is the silver grey version, which is quite nice. It's quite an attractive design. On the front we have a 3.5-inch screen, which is 360 by 640 pixels. There is a forward-facing VJ camera, which will be used for sort of your video calling and that sort of stuff, and then some sensors around the periphery for ambient lights and proximity, that kind of thing. It is a capacitive touchscreen. Little button underneath, presumably some sort of menu button, will bring up the sort of controls. On the left-hand side, a series of covers. First one is the micro SD memory card, and the next one is hard to open, is actually the SIM card socket there under a cover. Let's close that back off. There we go. Then there is that little sort of connector that I mentioned earlier on. So it is micro USB, but also has this connector here, which, as I say, isn't exactly micro USB because it doesn't have the corners clipped off of it. But that plugs in there, so it's kind of double duty, if you like. On the bottom, just the space for the charger, which is typical of Nokia. It's pretty small. It's in fact tiny little charge connector there, as you can see. Looking to the right hand side, we have a dedicated camera button, a little spring loaded switch which basically turns the screen on and off or puts it into sleep, and then an up and down volume control. On the top there is the power button, a 3.5mm headphone connector, which is great because obviously you can use your own headphones or the wired headset, and then another cover, this time over the mini HDMI connector, which, as I say, allows us to plug it into a TV. On the back, a 12-megapixel autofocus camera, which is a Carl Zeiss autofocus, Carl Zeiss lens with autofocus, and a proper flash. You can see it kind of sticks out a little bit at the back there, which looks a little odd, but obviously because it's 12 megapixel sensor and because of the xenon flash, just takes up a little bit much more room. But sticking it out like that means that at least they can make the rest of the body of the handset thinner. And if I peel that off, have a look just underneath. If you can really make that out there, but there is a cover closed over the lens there, which when you turn on will actually open. Also peel the other bit off the back. So you might be wondering how we remove the back cover. The simple answer is that we don't, like iPhone and several other devices that are just hitting the market really. Doesn't have a removable battery, so you can't interchange the battery with a spare, and if this one kind of runs out or you get a problem with it, you're a little bit stuck because it's not a user replaceable battery. But there we go. On the front, let's peel off the front cover or screen protector and see if we can power up. And while we wait for turn on, let's just run down the spec. It is quad band for GSM and tri-band for HSDPA, so taking this device on holiday with you or roaming or business, that kind of stuff, you're going to have absolutely no problem in using it. It's an AMO LED display, so it's nice and clear and bright, and also pretty conservative on the actual power consumption, which isn't bad. Let's say it's 360 by 640 pixels, and it is capacitive touchscreen. There is an ambient light sensor, proximity sensor, and a G sensor, so when we rotate the device, the screen rotates accordingly. Has Bluetooth 3 with A2DP support, wireless LAN supporting 802.11b, G and N technology, which is great. HSDP supports up to 10.2 megabits per second, which is fantastic. And as I say, 12 megapixel autofocus camera on the back with a Carl Zeiss and a xenon flash. An ARM11 processor running at 680 megahertz, and there is also 3D graphics acceleration, which is pretty cool. Also, the camera can support can record 720p video, which is again a nice little feature. A lot of handsets are starting to have 720p video recording, but this one does also have that. FM radio with RDS and an FM transmitter, which is again great if you're using it in your car. You can actually transmit the FM over FM so that you can pick up the signal through your car radio and play your MP3s, and if you're using sat-nav, that sort of thing. And it's the first handset that we've seen that has Symbian 3 operating system. I think that's sort of the basics of the specification. Oh, I should mention the size: 113mm from top to bottom, just under 60mm wide, and well, it's 13mm thick. I'm assuming that's referring to this part, because clearly this part here, where the camera is more than 13mm. So I'm assuming it's talking about the thickness, sort of the average thickness perhaps, but that point there. So let's go ahead and take a quick look. We'll use English and stay connected. Well, we'll skip that for now and select my country. So let's type in UN, see if it picks up United Kingdom. There we go. United Kingdom, nice capacitive touchscreen, London being my nearest, and we'll accept the defaults for date and time. So we start up and we have the home screen, and I can immediately tell you that the AMOLED display, as we've said many times with AMOLED, is phenomenal. The colours are brilliant. The blue is really stunning. It's not going to come across in the video that you're seeing here, but just to take my word for it, the yellow here around the envelope is really vibrant, as are the stars and the greens. Yeah, it's just really nice. AMOLED is a fantastic technology. So on the sort of main screen that we see here, let's push that again. So you have your calls, your contacts, navigation, OV store, favourites presumably of some kind, or phone setup, internet, gallery, and email. Add your most important contacts can be done underneath, and connect to your social networks, an OV underneath, which is date and time either side, telling us it's offline because clearly we don't have a SIM card installed. And we can swipe across, and then we have the ability to set up a mailbox, music, and your calendar. And on the third page we have Nat Geo, movie teasers and CNN video, so that's quite cool. I have an options button down the bottom here, which brings up show open applications. We can edit the home screen, widgets, and the user guide. And if we cancel that, we can go into the dial numbers. This will tell us missed calls, recently dialed, that kind of stuff. As missed, there we go, received and dialed. And we can exit that. And if we push the call button down the bottom, obviously brings up the dialer. We can dial the number. Generous size display coupled with the capacitive touchscreen means that works really quite nicely. And we can exit that. Push the button down the bottom, brings up the main menu. Fairly similar to other sort of Nokia handsets and other versions of Symbian, really. So it has tiles for your key applications. So you have your music player, photos, settings, web TV. Doesn't scroll through. That is all we have there. And then you've got your applications, which we can scroll through. So there are several other things such as YouTube. There's a radio, here and now, social networking, mail, Office, and a few other bits and pieces. So let's go and see if we can actually set up a wireless network. So go to a wireless LAN. Let's go and see if we can do that now. Connect. Asking for the key, so let's see if we can do that. As you can see there, a T9 style QWERTY or numeric pad, if you like, for text entry, and we can actually change that, but I don't know if we can change it here. If we rotate the display, as you can see, we get a nice QWERTY keyboard. Kind of looks similar to Android, really, in terms of the sort of layout and the styling of the keyboard. But we're going to go ahead and type in the key. And we're connecting. Hopefully we can pick up some coverage. There we go, we're connected. So now we're connected, we can come back out of here. And let's take a look at the web, see how that works. So let's go ahead and type something in. Now we could change round the entry mode, but we'll stick with this for now. And we'll type in there we go, and enter. Go to. Let's see how quickly that loads and what that looks like. You can see the progress in the corner. Then there's the page loading and also a progress bar on the left. There we go, it's loaded. So again, I mentioned it already, trying not to go on about it too much, but with the AMOLED screen, the page looks really great. And if we rotate that around, we can scroll around. See, works really well. Even where the text is quite small, it's perfectly legible, no problems in reading that at that size. And do we have multi-touch? We do indeed, so we can use 2 fingers to zoom out and see the full page, as you do there, and then 2 fingers to scroll to zoom in. So yeah, that's pretty impressive. It scrolls quite smoothly, and as I say, the browser does lay out quite nicely on the page. We can go back here. As you can see, the home screen does rotate as well. And we'll go back and we'll take a look at, let's go and have a look at YouTube. There we go. Let's do a search for there we go, here do unboxing, do a search, there you go, and there's some of my unboxing videos there. So let's take a look at, well, let's just pick one at random, BlackBerry for now, and let that load. Familiar little spinning disc, there we go, it's loaded there. And that double tap brings it up full screen.
Hi, this is James from tracyandmatt.co.uk and from unboxings.com.
Okay, so that loads quite quickly. Obviously we're using Wi-Fi and over broadband, so yeah, I suppose it'll give you an indication of what it would be like over HSDP as well. But it does load quite quickly and pretty impressively. In terms of what else we have in there, we have obviously the maps, which I won't go ahead and do just now because I'm indoors, so probably won't pick up a signal. We've got web TV. In terms of other applications, well, we've got tools, mail. We'll see how I can set up a mail account, which I'll go ahead and do later on. It does support Exchange push email, which is pretty cool. Software update, the camera. Let's take a look at the camera. Although I don't have anything really fantastic that I can take some pictures of, so well, I guess we'll just throw the user guide there. And it does, well, even on screen, the camera looks quite impressive. Let's see if we can just take a quick snap. There, and well, whether or not that really does come across on the video, I will actually take some, plenty of photos when we come to do the full review, so you can see the quality of the camera. But that does look quite impressive, and there seems to be a zoom there, which is quite good down the side. So we'll do some plenty more photos when we do the full review. So that is a very quick look really at just a couple of the things that we've got on the Nokia N8. We'll do a full review for you over the next couple of weeks. There's plenty to talk about when it comes to this handset, so if you give us a couple of weeks to really get our hands on it, use it in sort of daily use if you like, and just really get to grips with it and see what it's like as a handset and what it's like to live with compared to some of the other handsets that we're reviewing just at the moment. So give us a couple of weeks to get that review out. In the meantime, if you want to follow us on Twitter, twitter.com/tracyandmatt. If you want to ask us any questions or you've got any comments, please just give us a tweet and we will reply. Also, if you want to follow us on Facebook, it's facebook.com/tracyandmatt.co.uk. And as I say, we're back soon with some more videos and reviews on tracyandmatt.co.uk. But for now, thanks for watching.
Bitdefender is dedicated to protecting people's digital lives, so working with unboxings.com to help preview and review the latest technology is a perfect fit.